Eclipse. Okay, let's just go ahead and do a class and not worry about it today, since there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. All right. Okay, so all right, let's do this more formally. Walk out, feet side by side, salute, relax, left foot goes out. You should be now in a high horse stance. All right. Sitting down slightly, although your head goes up. Boom. From the Dan Chin. Expand. Expand. Circle. Breathe in. Sink it to the Dan Chin. All right, let it cook there for a second. So when you finish that last, it should go all the way down, just like I was saying earlier, all the way down to the bottom of the feet and into the ground, like you're growing roots into the ground. And then you bring the chi back up the yin meridians of the legs, up the back to the shoulders and up to the top of the head, and then from the shoulders down the arms to the tips of the fingers. So you're activating the whole body. Stand a moment, relax. Okay, questions? When I do that little move, I'm shifting my weight. You won't see it, right? So it's not like 100%, 100%. It's more like 51-49. Nevertheless, it's there and I'm conscious of it. So tell me, what am I doing? Yin and yang cycles, that's one yin and yang cycle, are always yin and yang. Right? That means you're going to be doing something different with each one of them. Right? Which leg am I on? Where's my weight? Where's my attention when I'm doing the yin part of this? Jill, where's my weight?
On the right.
Yeah. Now, the fact that it's on the right doesn't mean that it always has to be on the right. It's just that we're doing the right-handed version of this form. There's also a left-handed version. Kevin, you're left-handed, aren't you? Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right, so for you lefties. Catherine, are you right-handed or left-handed? Right-handed. All right. So, a guy who was left-handed once asked Master Zhang, well, when are you going to teach us the left-handed form? Or how do you fight how do you fight with your left hand when you're doing the right-handed side? And what Zhang's answer was, I'm going to teach you the right-handed side. You go home and teach yourself the left-handed version. It's the same thing, only the opposite way, right? We're doing the right-handed version, which means you come up on the right leg and you go down on the left leg. You come up on the right leg, you go down and out on the left leg, and then as you come out here, you're going to go back to the right leg, and then to the left leg, and the right leg, the right leg, and the left leg. Now, did you really see anything when you were watching me?
No, because you froze up.
Oh, did it really? Well, we'll fool with our. God damn it! How about the audio? Could you hear that? Could you hear what I was saying?
Well, it's right in the middle. There was no audio and you froze. So,
All right. Well, we're just going to have to finish the class that way because there's nothing I can do about it right now.
but if
What
you,
I was doing, and I'll do it again, is I just went through the first move and called out which leg you're on. But it's not like 100% on one side and 100% on the other. It's like just a tiny little bit, but you want to be conscious of it. Right? Up on the right leg, down on the left leg. Up on the right leg, down on the left leg. Up on the right leg, down on the left leg. Up on the right leg, down on the left leg. Up on the right leg, down on the left leg. Right? And you can see how down on the left leg gets you ready now to move to the other side here. So there's method in the madness. All right. Next question, what is the breathing pattern like? In general, you always breathe out when you're making an application, when you're shoving someone or something is happening. However, in the form itself, if you do that every time, you'll probably hyperventilate, particularly with a bunch of really small little moves. You don't want to start going like that. So you just let yourself breathe naturally and watch how you breathe. All right? If you're going to shove somebody, you're going to breathe out. Try this. I want you to shove somebody, but breathe in. God, ow, you practically hurt yourself.
And you didn't hurt them.
All right? You got to breathe out. Boom. All right? When you wind up, you breathe in. When you hit, you breathe out. All right? So, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Boom. When you go down, your chi goes down into the ground. It's called sinking. Right? It doesn't mean just your physical body is going down. It means your mind is going down, your chi is going down. You always do it twice. Watch. You do it, the first sinking is to finish the movement that you're doing. The second sinking is to wind up for the next movement. Now, once you get really good at it, they tend to kind of just blend, but it's always 1, 2. 1, 2. Even at the very beginning of the form. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Usually the 1 and 2 are so close together that you don't really see it from the outside. But you go watch Master Feng and some of his videos, and particularly the very last movement of the first move, and you will see it. Right? And he goes 1, 2, boom, and off you go. What's going on with the Dan Chen? Moving. It's your Dan Chen moving your arms, right? What's the actual function? Here's the actual function. If you don't lead the yang part of that with the Dan Chen, if the Dan Chen is not doing that, you're going to hurt yourself. Also, it will not function. If I just try to do that with my arms like that, yeah, there's like 10%, but that's about it. It's your core body. It's your Dan Chen inside here. Now, I'm just doing this to demonstrate. I'm not suggesting that you practice like this. Don't practice like this. You just practice slowly, gently, so you don't wear yourself out. Get the idea. Get the rhythm in here. You're not going to get it in a day. You're not going to get it in a week. You're not going to get it in a month. You're not going to get it in a year. You'll be lucky to get it in a decade. Seriously. When you get it, it's amazing. Because what you find out, I'm looking you all in the eyes. Catherine, I'm looking you in the eyes. Jill, I'm looking you in the eyes. And even Kevin, I'm looking in the eyes. You will find out you are much stronger than you know you are. This is a possibility in human beings that is in everyone. Everyone can sing. Everyone can paint paintings. Everyone can move, right? But that doesn't mean that you don't have to work on it, right? Turn the Dan Chen over backwards. Right? All the way to the ground. All the way to the ground. All the way to the ground. That's a great little exercise to do. My God, this form takes 12 minutes to do. That's the first second. It's not even a second. But the truth is, inside that 1 second is a real jewel, if you can find it. Right? Turn the Dan Chen, spin the Dan Chen backwards, and then all the way to the ground. All the way to the ground. This is why Tai Chi is done slowly. To give you a chance to feel this inside and practice it. If it were something that everybody could just do really fast, then we would do it really fast. But you can't. No one does. It has to be slow. In particular, you guys are smarter than this, but not everybody is. You will think you got it. And if you then go on thinking you have it, oh, now I can move fast because I got it, you will just skim right over the surface. Slow down and feel inside. Feel the chi going down your legs and it hits the ground, pop. Once it hits the ground, then start the cycle again. Every movement, all the way, pop, all the way. So this is what differentiates Hunyan style Tai Chi from its parent style, Chen style. It's not that Chen style doesn't have all this stuff, because it does. It's just the training regime for Chen style is more oriented toward the martial side. Master Feng's version, which is what we're doing, is oriented toward the Qigong side. It's not that you can't use it for martial arts. It's just that most people training in Hunyan are not really training to be martial artists. They're training to understand their energy body, which is what Qigong is. All right. So it's turning this move from this right, to this. Pay attention inside. Listen, feel, look. Once you get that, then if you want to, you can go on and use that for self-defense, develop it for self-defense, or you can develop it for health and well-being, which is really what Hunyan is involved with. Does this make sense, guys? Yes, Kevin.
So one thing, I don't know if you guys know this, but I mean, I have a bad back, and I've been spending 15 years trying to straighten myself and get myself into alignment again. And the frustrating part about trying to feel all this that Malcolm's talking about is that unless your body is really close to being aligned, well, it's very difficult to pick this up, because you're doing it, what you think you're doing right is not exactly right. And you practice something that might be wrong. But the more that I'm so as much as I hate trying to do meditation, I mean, that's one way. You need to spend some time. You don't have to do an hour, but you got to figure out what your body is in your alignment, because then everything starts to move. Nothing starts kind of circling until you get that part. I can only do it for like a second at a time, but that's way more than I could do it 15 years ago.
When Master Feng began to train in Hunyan Qigong with Hu Yaojian, he trained with him for 11 years. And the first thing Master Hu had him do is standing meditation. He said, this is the most important exercise. Stand there. Don't just do something, stand there. And these guys were serious. He was required, in order to be a student, he was required to do 2 hours of standing meditation every morning, which he did, rain or shine, for 11 years. All right? Now, they did different things during that time. He explained there were 4 different regimes that they worked, each for about 3 years. But what Kevin is saying is exactly right. What in God's name can you learn about movement by standing still? Exactly. All right. What you will find out is you all know what DNA is, right? Do you know that 90% of your DNA is what they call junk DNA? It doesn't actually do anything. Now, I think they are slowly discovering, actually it does do something, but nevertheless, all right, they have determined that we have something like 2% of everyone's DNA is Neanderthal. 7% of your DNA is viral. It's from viruses. And some of those viruses introduction go back hundreds of millions of years. So it's like you've got all this stuff inside you. How do you become aware of it? Well, I don't know how you become aware of the DNA, but what Kevin was saying is there's a story about Master Feng. An American went to see Master Feng at his old apartment. And it was Master Feng, his wife, and 4 daughters, you know, all of whom were growing up, were adults basically at that time. It was a tiny little apartment. And the living room was full of trophies and then this and that. And Master Feng was in there with 2 of his students. And the 2 students were standing in meditation, and Master Feng was just sitting on the couch. And one of the daughters had invited this American to come and meet Master Feng. So he came in, the daughter brought him in, introduced him, and Master Feng says, "Here, just sit down beside me, right? And quiet. We'll do this session, and then we'll talk, right?" So they sat, and Master Feng was just sitting there with his eyes closed, and the 2 guys were standing there. And you know, an hour goes by, and finally they conclude the session, and the 2 Chinese students leave. And Master Feng starts talking with this guy, and the guy asks him, "All right, what were your students doing?" "Oh, well, you know, they were doing standing meditation." All right, and I don't know exactly how it came about, but basically he asked him, "Well, how come you weren't doing standing meditation with them?" And he said, "Oh, I was working on their energy channels." "What do you mean?" "I was working on their daimais." "But you were just sitting here." "Yes, I was just sitting there. But what I was doing was working on their daimais." "Well, what do you mean working on their daimais?" "I was clearing out obstructions." Right? I know it sounds a little woo-woo, but nevertheless, are there obstructions? So Kevin has some obstructions from an old injury, right? And it can literally take your whole lifetime. It may take several lifetimes to clear those away. And he thinks that the injury that he's got is from this lifetime. He doesn't suspect that actually the roots of it go back several lifetimes, right? And it may take lifetimes to clear this stuff out. But when you start into Qigong and Tai Chi, you've kind of adrenalized that process. No, it's not a process over there. Now you've taken this process on and you're really working on it. And that means it's going to speed up a lot. Right? So when we're doing this Qigong, Tai Chi as Qigong, all the way to the bottom of the feet, into the ground, top of the head, center chest, lower back, all the way to the feet. What you're practicing is a pattern, is a cyclic pattern. You're moving chi through the body, through those channels. That's what cleans them out. All right? Is just to so you're reversing the Dantian. What else are you doing? All right? You're going to be using the microcosmic orbit, reversing the microcosmic orbit. If you're going to use the microcosmic orbit, you have to activate the relationship between the thorax and the abdomen. Right? You know it's back there, right? So between this one and this one in the back. And now in the back. Thorax, back, right? This brings the energy up, right? That takes the energy down. Up the front, over the top of the head, down the back, under the crotch, up the front, over the top of the head, down the back, under the crotch, up the front. Now I'm exaggerating that so you can see it, right? But and then you have to work with the Chongmai. The Renmai is in front, the Dumai is in back, the Chongmai is in the center. All right? So what is the Chongmai doing? The Chongmai gives you your central equilibrium. Zhongding. Zhongding. Without Zhongding, there's no Tai Chi. All right? So here's no Tai Chi. No Zhongding. The central column opens and closes. Opens and closes. Another way to say it is you're stretching your spine, you're relaxing your spine. 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 You come up into the center chest, you drop into the lower back. Remember with Taoist breathing, right? You're very gently contracting the abdomen. When do you do that? Right there. It's natural. Come up into the chest. Right? That contracts the abdomen automatically. Right? And then if you add a little thought to it, and then you just relax the abdomen when you sink into the Ming Men. All right, something you guys absolutely need to get is all these directions I'm giving you are fingers pointing at the moon. The point is not to look at the finger. The point is to look at the moon, right? When I say you drop into your Ming Men, well, you don't drop into your Ming Men, you drop into your whole Daimai. Think I don't have one here, but think of a ring. Who's got a ring on? Who's got a ring on with a stone? None of us are ring wearers, right? But imagine I've got a ring and it's got a diamond on it, right? The diamond is the Ming Men in back, but in fact it's the whole ring. So when I say drop into the Ming Men in back, right? Actually, you're dropping into the whole Daimai. but I just can't talk fast enough to understand. When you come up into the Tanzhong, yes, that's the diamond in the ring, but actually it's this whole area. Oh, right? And into the lower back. Um, Here's Grandmaster Feng's monograph about Hunyan Tai Chi. And what I wanted to show you was this picture, right, of the acupuncture points and at least one of the channels in there. You see? You see that channel going right up the center of the body? Okay. If you have in your head that your energy channels are just like a pencil thin little line, you're going to miss the point. Right? It's not just a little line. It's your whole body. So the energy going up and down doesn't just go up and down a little line, right? It's going. Right? Each of these channels are called Mai. Zhong Mai, Dai Mai, Ren Mai, Du Mai. The word Mai in Chinese originally meant the ocean tide flooding up an estuary. Now, in modern Chinese, it's come more to mean just like a channel or a meridian. But if you think about the estuary, San Francisco Bay is an estuary. Right? It goes all the way up to Sacramento. When the tide goes up there, it's like a flood. It's flooding everywhere, right? It's the same with this. Yes, maybe there's kind of a bright spot in the middle where the channel is deepest, and that happens to run right up and down the center of the body. But in fact, it's the whole body. There's the whole body coming up, the whole body going down, right? So when you sink into the Mingmen back here, yeah, that's the diamond in the ring. But don't forget the rest of the ring because it's equally important. How can you have a diamond on your finger if you don't have the rest of the ring? Right? What's the ring? In this case, the ring is the whole daimai, right? So I don't know how I can do this. Watch the blue. Zhongmai, Mingmen, center chest, lower back. But in fact, it's this whole thing. Is this clear? So in the first move of the first form, you've got a lot of stuff to practice. And if you don't know about it and you don't practice it, you're not doing Tai Chi, or at least you're not doing Hunyan Tai Chi. Right? You're probably not even doing Tai Chi at all. Okay? All right, so next week we will go on to the second part of the first move. I know this probably seems incredibly slow, but everything I just said applies to every move. So what we're talking about are the principles. Then it's just a matter of taking it. The first move is deliberately very simple so that the principles are very clear. And Master Zhang used to say, if you can get the first move of the form, you will get all of Tai Chi because everything's in the first move. Okay, guys, practice. We'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.